Hello, I'm back. I know I was gone for a while, but trust me, I do have good reasons. For one, I have new character stills, so I'm gonna ditch this PNG of a man with Ken Takakura's head, and I made other noticeable changes here on the channel. I was able to work 4 wonderful artists for my rebrand here on the channel, and because of that, I will credit them in the description down below if you want to check them out. But enough said, let's talk about something that really matters. New Rick and Morty is dropping next month, and with that, we're gonna get another season of exploring the characterization of our 2 main protagonists, Rick Sanchez and Morty Smith, while of course seeing what wacky zany adventures they go on. But before that, I feel like it's important to talk about how important I feel this up and coming season of Rick and Morty really is. So you might be wondering why I believe of all the seasons, season 8 is the one that matters. Well, it boils down to these main points. First off, as of right now, the Rick and Morty series has us asking this one big question, which is, what is next? You see, at the end of season 7, the whole season was marketed as Rick finally going after his arch nemesis, the man who set him on his darkest path of his life. This man, of course, is Prime Rick, the man that not only killed his wife in original Beth, but is also the same man who is regarded as the Rickest Rick, title that C-137 was alerted to back in season 1.
Go without saying that the Rickest Rick would have the Mortiest Morty. It would go without saying, huh?
So you can always see how big of a deal this Rick really is. It seems like Prime Rick really embodies the essence of what being a Rick really is, to a point that Rick himself acknowledged that and is kinda afraid of him. Afraid in the sense that he recognized him as the real deal.
Yes, Morty.
You promise I'm not, bait to make that Rick come back?
What? Morty, for you to be bait, the guy'd have to value something. He truly does not give a shit. He's the real deal.
So what am I talking about? At the time, this was the build up to a really hyped up moment within the whole franchise. Because as we know, the writers behind Rick and Morty love playing with the idea of taking the series in a serialized format, while still trying to keep up the more episodic approach that the show is best known for, which I perfectly understand. Because if you would have said that Rick and Morty is at its best when it's episodic, I can see your point. And it's perfectly okay that some people just enjoy that episodic nature of the show. It's totally possible that I'm part of a loud minority who really want to see some actual story progression in a serious note. Over time, I was able to appreciate during the later season how they take these small episodic shows and use it as a chance to progress the character ever so slightly. It was a nice notable change for those viewers who are actually trying to pay attention to what story is being told. But this is my underlying issue. We are 8 seasons deep and we're left with more questions than answers. And it pains me, right? I can understand why people will already keep the show the way it is, but looking back, the writers are clearly and purposely planting story elements that matters later down the line. So am I really wrong wanting to see the fruit of the labor these writers are planting right in front of our faces? Because it feels like they're trying to create a overarching narrative in an interesting creative way, and it's just eating away at me slowly. If we take a look at season 7, where C-137 Rick kills Prime Rick, we saw how empty Rick really was after the whole ordeal. How character A wants revenge so badly that they want to dedicate their entire life on getting it, only for said character to realize that revenge didn't provide the closure they thought it would. But the way that the Rick and Morty staff was able to execute on this idea was actually so interesting to me. Because look, all know there's a subsection of fans within the community that wants more serialization within Rick and Morty. Because of that, we felt the same lack of closure that Rick felt when he killed Prime Rick. We thought we wanted this big climactic fight with a lot of lore reveals, and that's exactly what we got. We was begging for it, and the writers actually delivered. Me personally, if I were to ask myself what was my initial reaction after watching episode 5 of season 7, I was like, okay, what now? Because clearly the story wasn't heading in the direction of Rick Prime being the series' ultimate big bad. That spot was always reserved for evil Morty, and now I'm starting to think that he might not even fulfill that role. The way I see it, season 8 is going to catapult us into the later endgame of the series. Well, I hope it does, because since we're at season 8, I don't want to see Rick and Morty overstay its welcome. Listen, I do love Rick and Morty, but over the years, it kind of fell off in the eyes of the fandom with questionable episodes here and there. If I were to go back in time and tell people that Morty and Summer were going to have a giant space incest baby named Naruto, I would be the laughingstock of the day. That's just the truth. Another example, what if I told people that Rick clones Beth just for that Beth to cuck Jerry with her clone? Like, come on, is that not OD? Couple that with telling the same lazy joke about meta commentary, I can see why by each season people were starting to get a little bit annoyed. So I think it's good that I'm starting to question the self-life of Rick and Morty, especially when this is going to be the second season where Justin Roiland, a notable key figure within the Rick and Morty community and fandom, is not here reprising his roles as Rick and Morty and other characters from the show. And if I were to give my opinion on the whole situation, I do like the replacements. I feel like they found the best possible candidate to reprise the roles. They're not perfect, but hey, they're decent, and sometimes when I'm so deep within the episode, I barely notice the difference. But you're gonna have the nitpickers who disagree. But when it comes to Ian and Harry, the new voice actors, they are good performers when it comes to the whole acting of voice acting, and I think people forgot about that. So to wrap it up, Rick and Morty is one of my favorite series of all time, and all I want is to see the stories the writers are trying to convey here, because in a literal sense, this is a story with infinite potential. They have a really flexible concept here, and as of right now, we're officially back into uncharted territory while being so deep within the series. I think this provides a great chance for the writers to make their impact with this new season. Well, that's it for today's video. I will try to upload again this following week because I'm planning to launch a new series here on the channel, so look out for that. And with summer on the way, look out for bigger and better projects here on the channel. And if you make it this far, comment the word Pickle Rick. Until next time, I'm your host Taken, and we do a little reviewing around here. Peace out.